Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I'm Lee Holmes Foster, and here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. We'd like to let you know that we are releasing bonus Patreon episodes, as always in Season 7. Our last one was about Will and Grace. Also like to shout out Tom, one of our patrons, who sent a lengthy video of Karen being gay as hell, because she is. So if anyone wants to hear my thoughts on Will and Grace, you can join us at bit.ly/lespatreon. Our next episode is going to be coming out on February 26th for The Kids Are All Right.
We also want to remind everyone that Journey to the Heart is releasing now. If you have not caught up yet, you should make sure you're keeping up with the show, because you can vote on what happens at key points in the story. So our episode 4 came out today, and there is one more chance to vote, but you should still catch up, enjoy the ride, and join us for what's going to happen next.
In the Greater Les universe, the first lesbian couple in Nepal has officially registered their marriage, which is so exciting. We love gay marriage.
Love historic firsts, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Good for you. Good for you. Also, listen, we got some ads to talk about, because there's nothing that we love more than, gay ads, but also gay ads that super piss off conservatives. Mm-hmm. So I know there's a Pandora ad, jewelry company Pandora. There was a Pandora ad that has outraged Christians who are like, how dare you show lesbians being happy?
And to us, that's our whole mission in life. So sorry, Christians.
So sorry. Can I just read you this quote from the, 1 Million Moms, right? Okay.
Oh, yes, please.
So the 1 Million Moms, famously 12 angry moms in a basement somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So their website had a quote where they said, "Scripture repeatedly states that homosexuality is wrong and God will not tolerate this sinful behavior." And I'm like, Great. Oh, ladies, spicy.
I know. Stop making out. Deal with it.
Love it.
Also, in the Super Bowl, which I don't know if you watched this. Did you watch the Super Bowl, Lee?
I did not.
I watched the Super Bowl with a bunch of people who literally had no clue what the rules to football were, and I don't know why.
Amazing.
I was like, I guess I understand that people don't watch football, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised that they literally had no clue what was going on. I actually didn't think those people existed. I thought it was a caricature.
Let me clarify. I could watch the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And know what's happening. I did not watch the Super Bowl.
Yes, you can choose not to. You can be like, sure. I don't. And you can not know football at all. But I'm like, I just found it fascinating that they really had no clue what was happening.
You're like, what planet did you grow up on?
Yeah,
fascinating.
But, good for them. But during the Super Bowl, first of all, Usher taking off his shirt made me think maybe I was bi for a second. But also there was a Volkswagen Super Bowl ad where they had a lesbian wedding in a Volkswagen. So Volkswagen's coming for Subaru, trying to be the next lesbian car. So
listen, let them fight it out. I'm here for it.
Go for it.
Incredible. One last thing that we haven't talked about yet, and I almost hesitate to, but are you aware of the whole TikTok cubbyhole controversy situation that happened?
No.
Okay. So Okay, lesbian TikTok has been losing their minds lately because this straight woman made one of those, you know, the like, I'm putting on my makeup videos, okay? Okay. She made one of those videos where she was like, oh my God, like I went to this lesbian bar and like I was just having a great time. And then like one of our friends, like one of our male friends was like, oh my God, I'll stop by and stopped by. And then like some lesbian at this bar like had the nerve to come up to this man and be like, are you here with someone? And I'm like, yeah, he's here with me, right? And you'll appreciate this, Ellie, they were at the cubbyhole.
Yes.
Right? Which is like the size of a fucking postage stamp.
It is the tiniest bar you could ever be in. Yes.
And so I swear to God, like this straight woman was just getting dragged left and right by lesbians being like, excuse you, but like who are you and who are you to decide that you get to like A, come into queer spaces, B, bring a straight man into queer spaces, and then when that straight man is questioned as like, hey, are you here with someone, be like, he's here with me, when you're not even fucking gay, and like, what are you doing at this bar? And she's like, oh, I guess I'm like never gonna go back to like a gay bar since I'm not welcome there. And you're like,
and everyone was like,
fine, great,
that's the point.
Correct.
That's the
point. Please stop. So
I will say, I have had an experience at the cubbyhole where lesbians were very rude to me. So I will say, like, lesbians in general, I can see both sides. Both sides of it, where it's like, don't just assume that people are straight and be rude to them. Like, they assumed I was straight and were very rude to me because I was dressed very femme.
Yes, which is also problematic.
Yeah.
But I will say the lesbian in question did also make a TikTok with her side of the story.
Amazing.
And you're just like, yeah, no, these people were just ridiculous.
I'm sure they were trash.
Yes.
But
anyways, if you haven't caught up on the drama, Ellie, you can catch up on the drama.
Oh, I will.
That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee. Thanks, Ellie and Lee, and welcome to our 120th installment of Should Have Been Gay.
Oh, it was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
And in this week's episode, rootin' deedle doo, da scrootin' deedle doo, rootin' deedle doo, bow bow wow wow. I'm so sorry. Gotta do my best Jack Black, you know? It's just happening. You can't resist a good scroodle-deetin'-doo. Some of you may have noticed it is just me tonight, sadly. Ellie could not make it, but luckily I have two wonderful guests here to back me up and keep me company for the evening. I have Gabby and Emily Cohen from the Butch Boudoir Project, which is an ongoing movement to empower butch and masculine people across different gender identities, celebrating their identity, sexuality, and visibility. And oh my God, hi, you two.
Hello. That was a great Jack Black. That was just
that
good.
was excellent. That was really
I did my
exceptional.
best.
Yeah,
I did my best. I do love a good scat, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
Who
yes,
doesn't?
absolutely.
I was trying so hard. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I went back and rewatched the whole scene in the Blockbuster to be like, which
Oh my
song
gosh.
do I think is the funniest? You know?
Yeah. That's a great
It was
part, though.
It was a close call with.
He's so marvelous.
He is great.
He
He's
really
great.
is. Honestly.
We are here tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about the holiday. Before we dive in, tell me a little bit more about the Butch Boudoir Project and how that came into existence and what you two are doing.
So it's good. I think I forget to tell this story often because we've been doing it for a while. This is year 5 of the project this year, right? And
Yeah, I
our
think
fourth,
so. Yeah.
our fourth calendar. So like all the things are all over the place. But so the project started just from, a really apparent lack of representation for butch and masculine of center people. Specifically, I was working with a boudoir photographer at the time. We were talking and it all just came up. I was looking around on Pinterest and I couldn't find anybody who looked like me doing anything, really.
Yeah.
There was just not enough visual representation. And so I did a photo shoot, and we were like, listen, I think this is bigger than just this photo shoot, and I don't know what it is, so let's give it a shot. At the time, we were running a nonprofit in South Florida, and so we were like, okay, it could be part of that. Then it quickly took on a mind of its own and went in a totally different direction than than the nonprofit, and that's where we are. So now it's just continued to grow and take on time, and we've brought more people into the project, and so it's really just the idea is to just showcase butch people in regular life, in real life, and in all the different ways. In the wild. Yeah. But
in their flannel best, as I saw in this year's calendar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, by getting together, we break down toxic masculinity, also an unexpected part for me, at least, but maybe not so unexpected for you, was like how empowering it is for folks who are attracted to butch people to be able to see this representation. So for my wife and for everybody,
this is really a gift for me.
It is.
No, but it's so true though, and it's so funny because like I am not like the most mask person out there. I feel like I'm very like little boy kind of like, gender presentation. But what's funny is like I remember seeing one time like on TikTok, just a TikTok of a woman who was doing like boudoir pose suggestions, right? And it was like, oh, like, she had a whole series where she's like, here's how you can pose for like this type of photo and these type of photos and whatever. And she had a bunch of things for like, here are women's boudoir poses. And then she had done one that just like came, probably because I live in like lesbian TikTok spaces. But it was one that like came across my For You page. And it was just like, oh, if you're more on the mask side, like here are some like sexy, strong pose ideas that like aren't like, oh, let me arms up, spread on the bed, highlight all my curves, like, and it was just
That's
like, here's how you
great.
can like sit and like lean here. Here's how you can lean on a wall. Here's how you can be like framed in the window. And I was like, this is fucking great. Like, yeah, more of this, please.
That's fantastic.
Like, and it's so, you don't realize until you see it that you've never seen it. Right. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's not out there very much, is it?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and Ellie and I talk a lot on the show about like just representation in the media in general. Like you just don't see a lot of mask identities. It's
true.
not, and if you do, not always positively. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not in like a, because I like, sorry, not to like get totally sidetracked. Have you noticed a trend with me tonight? I'm so
That's
on topic.
okay. So okay.
We're doing great.
We're doing great.
We're just like grooving through.
We're rolling through it. But I remember the first time. Over to A League of Their Own is what I'm scroodle-eating doing over, okay?
All right, do
so
it.
I just remember that one scene in A League of Their Own where they're dancing, right? Like they're at the bar, they found the little secret gay bar, and they're dancing, and now I'm blanking on the character's name. Melanie's character is named something, and I can't remember what it was. But
I don't remember. Ugh.
Yeah, and now I haven't watched the show in such a long time. But it was like, you remember that scene where you just watch the like very femme lesbian who's dancing with her be like, "You're beautiful," and you're like, yeah, you never get to see this. Like, you don't get to see characters like this not only be portrayed as attractive, but like see someone being attracted to them. And it's so great and powerful and awesome. And I just love what you're doing anyways. Did I mention that? Love it. Love it.
It's so much fun. I mean, honestly, I think that like that's really what got me all worked up about it. But like, honestly, I mean, can distinctly remember being like 10 years old. So now I'm going to date myself. 10, 11, something like that. When the Katie Lang and Cindy Crawford barber chair thing, right? That whole photo shoot. And what was it? Vanity Fair.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, I can distinctly,
the cover, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it was just the 30-year anniversary of it this summer. And I can distinctly remember seeing it and like the little queer core like started going in me. And I did nothing with it, right? It didn't exist. I grew up in a religious environment, and that was not something I would ever think to do anything about, but it like lived there, right? And that like that photo lived rent free in my head until I was like in my 20s, right? And like I thought I thought to myself, oh, that's right. I can be attracted to masculinity and it doesn't have to be a cis guy. And that like when that light bulb went off for me, like when I connected those two things, that I saw this picture when I was 11, and mind you, there wasn't a lot of representation beyond that. And then when I was like, oh shit, that's a thing. And that's why this whole project is so important to me, is because like as a person that has always been attracted to masculinity, knowing that my options didn't have to be a God-fearing dude was not like, I needed that. And so I feel like this representation is so important across like the whole queer board, you know, for everyone, because like we need to know that, you know, there's something wrong with us. Yeah.
There's other options out there. Now, if only our two leading ladies in The Holiday had realized that. But anyways, let's dive into it. So we're here. Did you like that segue? It was good.
It was a good segue. Yeah.
Dive in.
We're here. We're gonna break down 2006 family classic, The Holiday. Right? Everyone knows this movie. It's got Cameron Diaz, we've got Kate Winslet, we've got Jack Black and Jude Law. Like this is classic holiday rom-com, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for anyone who's not familiar with The Holiday, here's the IMDb synopsis, okay? Two women troubled with guy problems swap homes in each other's countries where they each meet a local guy and fall in love. Sure.
Pretty basic.
Sure. If you had to give me, and you can do this, you can each have your own, or you can do a joint, whatever feels
right. We were
right.
arguing about this beforehand. We were like,
okay.
Are we going to come up with the same one?
Okay, you hit me with your gay synopsis of the movie.
Well, I think that we both agreed on something very particular. What was it, my dear? About Jack Black.
Oh, well, that Jack Black definitely should have been the butch lesbian, and that Jude Law also definitely, but like a softer butch, like a
like a chapstick.
Like a chapstick.
Sure.
Yeah. So I guess like the new synopsis would be two women switch houses and find.
See, here's the problem. The problem with this is that whenever we watch this, right, our synopsis is Amanda, right? That's Cameron Diaz's character's name, right? Amanda sends the message to Iris and they start talking back and forth. And they're like, why don't you just come to my city and we can hang out together? Clearly we're great people, but the movie would be over
in 30 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So I get it. So you're doing like a rewrite version as an option. You're doing a gender bent version as an option. I like it. I feel like my gay synopsis for the movie, even just as it is, right? Because I'll be honest, I don't think I'd watched this in like 2 decades.
Oh my God,
it's been a long time, right? Like, I hadn't seen it since probably like I was in college, so it had been a while. And here's what I think my gay synopsis just of the movie is: comp het comes for two very repressed lesbians with the worst taste in men who cannot break free from society's heteronormativity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, like that's just my general take with it, but I love we're going to explore the options of like how we can fix this movie. First, tell me more about this. We watch it every week. What's your experience with this movie?
I'm obsessed with this movie. I'm obsessed.
Recently or like since always?
No, since like always. Since forever. I love this movie. I'm in love with Kate Winslet and I'm in love with Jack Black. And it's like would be the perfect sandwich if I could get in between the two of them. And so like my little bi baby heart is like so I love it. I love, for me, it's very classic. And also like it is not devoid of toxic masculinity, clearly, but it's so low on the meter for me because so much of it is about like communication and the time that they spend together. It's not about like stuff and money. It's about experiences and building on their relationships together. And so it just speaks to my heart. Like it just, I don't know. I love it.
It's about climbing in pillow forts with your children.
Yes.
You know?
And like,
You know, it's funny because we only ever talk about the reasons why we like to like rag on it while we're watching it. But
I know. But
yeah,
it's
well,
so
sure.
sweet.
You know, obviously. It is.
But
really
that's,
sweet.
listen, that is what holiday rom-coms are for. Like, hands down, that is the reason they exist. Like, we just did this past holiday season because I think last year we recorded an episode on the Princess Switch trilogy.
Oh my gosh.
Which is literally the hardest I think I've ever laughed in my life. Like, we had such a good fucking time talking about these movies, and they're insane. And then this year we had some friends who were like, oh my God, what should we watch tonight? And I was like, Princess Switch. Like, Princess Switch movies, hands down. And they started it, and they just kept texting us being like, this isn't, like, good. And I was like, I don't know what you think you're supposed to get out of this, but like everything you're saying is bad about it is why it's great.
Why
because
it's
you
good.
sit there and make fun of it, and that's the point.
Yes.
That's the point. It shouldn't make that much
Correct.
sense. Why does this man's 4-year-old child have a cell phone that she's calling him with that pops up with her name? No one needs to think about it, okay?
Nope.
You just roll with
You just go with it.
You just go with it. Sir, who is always watching your children? Your wife is dead. Where are they right now?
Right.
Like,
There are so many pieces of this.
that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. How did they all have the money and the time to fly to the other side of the world at any given point in time? That's the point, right?
I just randomly had thousands of dollars in my pocket to just go. I mean, Amanda's like, you know.
Okay, fine.
She's pretty loaded.
She's
got
making it for
got a nice
herself.
LA
She's doing
house.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know where she's getting this fancy job just cutting trailers. I want that job. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
How do you just like
just cut movie trailers?
Oh, by the way, I'm a movie trailer person.
This feels like a job that existed for like some white dude in 1992, and then now it's like some intern gets paid like $7.50 an hour to do this same job now in 2024, right?
Yes. That's the problem.
Only while they figure out how to transition to AI. That's all.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, that's just.
They're like, make the intern do it. Get coffee and make a trailer. What about you, Gabby? We got Emily's story. What's your background with the movie?
Oh, well, so I mean, I love it. I mean, I didn't watch it as much before we got together. I did see it though. Like I saw it in the theater, and then it's Emily's favorite, and so like we watched it, and I mean, who doesn't love the cast? I mean, it's perfect. So yeah, I love it. It is also very feel good. I like the story. It feels somewhat different, right? Like in some ways, right? Like it's not like every other single one in all of the stories. So I do love that about it. And this one has Arthur, and none of the other movies have Arthur.
He's so great. He's so great.
Arthur's the best.
He's the best. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the storyline a lot.
Yeah.
I have my wife is one of those people who is always like when she was like growing up and like a kid and stuff, and like so many of her stories are like, oh, I used to have this like old lady as a neighbor and we would just like go and hang out. Like that's her childhood. So I love that. I love the character. I love like Iris's whole thing where she's just like, an old man, let me go have dinner with him. I'm like, yes, that's perfect.
That's
just
totally,
the perfect kind of person.
That's totally what I would do.
Yeah.
If I did this, I think that's where I'm like, that's what I would do. I would befriend the old guy who happened to end up being a movie producer, and that's where I would spend my time. That would be my jam. So yeah.
You wouldn't be out like
As
thirst trapping in bars in England.
I wouldn't be out thirst trapping in bars. I'd be looking for the old guy to hang out with, and we'd go to bed early, and it would be great.
It would be wonderful. I love Arthur.
At a reasonable time. See, that's like, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds ideal for me. Like, oh yeah, 9 p.m. bedtime. Love it. Love it.
I miss the days when my body
half
was
a
ready to
glass of
sleep
wine.
then. Yeah, right. That's it.
Half a glass of wine at early bedtime. That's what I need right now. Listen,
that sounds great. Gosh.
I know. I watched Jude Law show up that first night, and he's just like drunk off his ass and like crashing on his sister's couch, and I'm like, honestly, looks awful. Yeah. Maybe go home to your children, my guy. What are you doing here?
Like I want to know why.
Go kiss
Iris,
your kids goodnight.
I want to know why Iris just lets that happen. Like, I think it speaks to how much she just kind of lets people do whatever they want. Because he's like banging on the door and he's like, I'm just gonna, what did you say? He's gonna like pee outside or something. And like, I'm thinking, is this regular? Is this normal for him that he just comes over when he wants and like busts into her private home? Like, wow.
So, I mean,
I just took that in a totally different direction.
But this is a good segue into, though, we were talking about it, because Jude Law's character should be a lesbian, that they wouldn't have met at the bar.
No, they wouldn't have met at the bar.
That's the part I think that would be different, is that is not what Jude Law as a soft butch would do.
No.
Tell me more, because I wanna dig into the like, what do we think should have been gay? What do we think was gay? How would we remake this gay? So tell me more about soft butch lesbian Jude Law. I need the details, because like, I'll be honest, he feels like the toxic lesbian.
It could be.
Yeah. The vibe is like real.
He's touch and go.
Wonky with
and
him.
Weepy. So
Weepy. He is weepy.
Yeah, the weepy I can live with. I feel like the thing for me, again, if you cast him as a soft butch just in this movie, again, as it exists, I feel like, listen, you want to talk about our differing standards for men and women. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, a single mom who just goes out and gets like pissed drunk and crashes on her sister's couch on the weekend. Like no one lets that slide. And I'll be honest, like he gets that throwaway comment later where he's like, they're at their grandparents'. Because I was like, where were your children, my guy? Like, they're young. They are young girls. Why do you ignore their calls? And where are they?
Oh my gosh, right, exactly.
Right. Yeah, so you're right. If we weren't rewriting his character to be lesbian, absolutely, he's totally the toxic lesbian.
He's 100%. A toxic lesbian,
he's
right?
Definitely,
like,
yeah.
He's the Shane of it all, right?
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes. He's clearly the Shane. I don't even want to see how far that chart goes across the UK. No.
He lives in, this is a small town. I have some questions about how many, what has he slept with every woman? Like just every woman there?
Yeah.
Most
it's a little
likely.
sad.
Yeah.
Makes me a little sad.
It's unfortunate.
Yes.
It is, and it's also the thing that I have a hard time with about Jude Law's character as it relates to Cameron Diaz. Okay, because listen, there are two things that we love for a should have been gay contender as a movie, right? And one of them is a woman who just keeps sabotaging her own relationships with men.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why that would be of interest to us.
No. Who knows?
For any reason.
It's such an interesting thing to me.
Why that might relate to characters who maybe should have or could have been a little gay,
Right.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
Yeah, sabotaging those relationships.
There's that. It's just, I'm like, come on. Like, you just, oh no, why can't I make it work with any guy? I don't know, Amanda. Why can't you?
See, that's what I was saying about if the ex, what's his name? Ethan, I think. See,
Ethan?
I know everybody's name. I'm going to pretend like I don't, just
You're
so that I don't look
it.
like a crazy person, but I know everybody's name. And like in my head, right, she was like, oh, fine, I'll date a guy again, right? This is my story. I left a marriage and I was like, okay, now I can go date women, right? I left a marriage to a man and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it now. And then I didn't. I like found a safe alternative in another guy. And like, it's so funny to me because I see this happening as like, it could have been my retribution that she dated this Ethan guy and she was like, oh man, I knew it was going to be like this. It's like this every single time I'm with a dude. And then she goes off to England and she meets Iris and they live happily ever after. And they eat like cheese in a little boat on a river.
Yeah, bread. Yeah. Just a little, crudité platter.
Yes. Yeah. And they go to coffee shops. Oh my God.
I just think anytime that you have a character and your intro to that character, right? Like the first scene in this movie where you meet Cameron Diaz is Cameron Diaz being like, you fucked your secretary, get out. He's sleeping on the couch. She's like going around gathering all of his shit and like tossing him out the front door. And he's like, we don't have sex. And she's like, nobody has sex. And I'm sorry, but like, What?
Hello?
What? Like, this is a plot point in so many early aughts movies where they're just like, I just don't have any desire to have sex with you. And that is a normal heterosexual female way to feel. And you're like,
Correct.
Is it though?
No.
Is it actually? Is it though? And she's just like, this is normal. And he's like, well, I slept with someone else who does want to sleep with me. And you're like, dig a little deeper into that, Amanda. Just let's peel back a little
bit.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a little look-see at what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Like, that, her character honestly just feels like a gold mine of repressed gay tropes.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
We hit them all. And the other one, they're just so much.
She
It's
won
so
at
much.
Gay repressed bingo.
It's just, she's just got a little board in front of her with just like a pile of the little chips dumped on top.
That's it.
She's like, what does it mean?
Hate sex with men.
I got the full card
for it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And also not just like hates sex with men, but like hates sex with men in a way that has like emotionally broken her.
Yeah.
Like, she cannot cry. She is continuously reliving the trauma of her parents' divorce. She is like so, like, she's a mess all the time. And this is why I love the movie, because I connect to her so well. I really was, this was who I was. I was like, this is why I love it so much. There you go. I'm going to tell my therapist.
Representation matters, you
Seriously.
know?
I'm going to tell my therapist I had a breakthrough and we don't have to talk anymore. This is perfect.
Great.
This is great.
I actually just have The Holiday and I'll just watch that.
I'm just going to do that over and over again.
Yeah.
And every week I'll come up with something new and how I relate to it.
There you go.
There
And
you
just
go.
journal. I'm just going to watch The Holiday and journal.
Yeah.
Okay? Listen. Forget all those fancy online therapy apps, y'all. Okay, we're gonna put on The Holiday, watch Cameron Diaz very closely, and just write down our thoughts. Okay,
Yeah,
just
that
write
sounds
down
good.
what it brings up for you.
That sounds very good.
Amazing. We're gonna take a quick break. I want to come back and talk about some of the other tropes that Amanda has. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, and as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Okay, here's the other trope that I absolutely love about Amanda's character. There is nothing that we love more in a should have been gay than the brotherly stand-in.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
Like this is a trope that we see all over the place.
Yeah.
This is like in She's the Man, right? In
Oh my gosh.
Bring It On.
Oh my
in
gosh.
like all of these movies where you're like, you clearly should fuck, and then they're like, I'm in love with your brother. So convenient that he's here just like you, but a man. Just like you in man form, right?
Exactly.
Just like an emotional, beautiful man. Definitely a man.
But it never actually works.
I mean, it just always feels a little sus, is all. Like, as soon as you have a character fall in love with, like, one girl's brother, I'm always just like, oh, little bing, like, little red flag pops up in your brain, and you're like, what's happening here, right? Especially when you make that character as, like, I agree, Jude Law is just kind of dykey in this movie.
He is.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's like, I have a lot of feelings and I just need to process them, and I just cry a lot, and I have this beautiful hair.
He also has a cow that we never get to see, and that is a constant issue for me. I'm like,
he
what?
is a cottagecore lesbian, and they are holding back on
lesbian,
us.
and he has a cow, and we don't get to see any of that.
He's learning to sew. Somewhere back there, that man is making paper, I promise you.
Absolutely. Little
Yeah.
seed packets.
Yeah. He makes the napkins for Mr. Napkin.
Yes, he does. He makes the napkins.
He absolutely.
It's
Those
true.
are homemade napkins.
He
Those
grows
are
the tea leaves.
Yeah. He is a
Absolutely. He's got a cacao bush in the back of his house that he takes the seeds from to make the hot cocoa.
Amazing.
We've just written
Amazing.
the best freaking movie. Oh my God.
It's so true. He's just I just feel like it's glaring. It happens so often that it stands out so much for me in movies now. And especially, like, again, this era, like, I don't know what they had with brothers. They were into brothers.
Yeah.
There was something in the water. Something in the water circa 2005, okay? That just...
It's like a great detour, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this could be great, but actually you're the one that like everybody thinks I should be with. So then at least there's a copy of you.
Yes. And it's also, it's just, there's something about watching Cameron Diaz, like, just pathetically trying to make herself have emotions over any other men in her life.
Oh my God.
That just, it like, it just feels like it hits something in, like, that coming out journey that many of us had, you know, where you're just like, all of my friends are so upset about these boys. Why aren't I?
Like, how come I can't make myself cry over this guy? I should be sad, but I'm not. Why?
Maybe if I just...
Yeah.
No, it's not coming. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Just not happening, you know?
No.
Yeah.
And also, like, not to read too much into it, but I feel like there's this... Okay, sorry. I love to do off the cuff deep analysis.
Perfect.
We're ready.
So here's what I did also notice that I feel like is, like, the cow is one thing that I feel like does not get explored enough. Agreed. The other one, like, what color even is the cow? We don't know. No one knows. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's fine.
One and only one. I don't. It's a
He just has a cow.
just one.
Just and cow. So here's my other thing. We learned two things about Cameron Diaz's character, right? Like, Amanda has two things that we know about, like, the brokenness of her. One of them is she cannot cry. The other one is Ethan kept telling her she's bad at sex.
Right.
And I feel like that gets put in there, like, that gets a decent amount of dialogue time for a thing that never really gets addressed, actually, in any specific detail. And so I feel like there's just something interesting to me when you do that, when you're like, oh, like, you're bad at sex, and also you can't cry. Okay, anyways, with men, it's fine.
Sure,
you just can't cry
Right.
when it's about men. But it's like, but they don't explain it. It never goes anywhere, right? She's just like, he told me I was bad at this, and then Jude Law's like, no. And then they never mention anything about it again. And I'm like, why is that in there? Like, what point does that serve? Other than to highlight that, like, sexually there is something incompatible with you,
right?
And men.
Yes.
And also you just, like, can't do, like, your body doesn't produce
It's just not
moisture
working.
in the way. Do you see what do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You're like, you're picking up what I'm putting down here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, that girl does not come with men, and that's it.
No, she probably doesn't.
She does not. No.
And she's probably like, you could, like, go over there. No, that's not the spot. Wait, try
That's
that.
not it.
No, that's not it either.
Like,
No.
I just feel like every time, since it occurred to me while watching this, every time I see her, like, trying to pretend cry and then it's not working, I'm like, this is just a stand-in for you trying to fake it, right?
You're just like...
This is like you wanted a PG rating or whatever you got on this, and so you're just like, well, I can't show her faking it, like, while riding Jude Law, so we're just gonna put her crying in the car.
Right,
like,
she's just gonna try to cry, and it's not working.
It's not gonna work.
that's the movie I watched. I don't know about you all.
Yeah, no,
no,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, we've seen that one. I think she's like one more man away. Like, Jude Law's like her last one that she's gonna try, and then eventually she'll finally put it together.
Yes.
Like, if you checked in
be
with
like,
her
why
now,
why doesn't this work for me? Why do men keep telling me I'm bad at this, and why do I not want to sleep with them ever?
yeah, exactly. I think if you checked in with her now, she would be living her
so
best
close.
lesbian cottage life.
She's so close, you
So
know?
close.
She's like right there. You're just like, oh, sweetie, you just need a little help. You just need, like, the crack in the closet door open
There's
for
just
you.
somebody
Just a
just
little
like kicks it open,
Just a little nudge.
creak.
Just someone needs to turn the latch.
Yeah.
You know? And just free you from this. Oh, so sad.
And
Poor
it was probably
life.
Iris.
And it probably could be Iris.
Okay, let's talk Iris a little bit.
It probably could be Iris, but poor Iris.
Because who doesn't want it to be Kate Winslet, though? I mean,
Poor Iris. See, I relate to Iris too. God, this movie's just destroying me. Like, the chasing and, like, trying to convince herself that this is what she needs. It's very...
It is sad in a level that you just don't see very much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and especially, okay, again, is this just like a feature of, like, we all lived through the early aughts where this man, the guy who plays Jasper, Rufus something, what's his last
I
name?
can't think of his name.
But that actor, I feel like he was in so many rom-coms specifically as the, like, man everyone's in love with.
Oh, yeah.
But who's terrible. And you're like, maybe I'm just, like, too gay for this. But I'm like, that dude is not worth any of the ways he is treating you. Like, sorry to that man, but no. Like, he is just not a good enough looking guy for this bullshit, for this, for all of this.
Yeah.
Every word that comes out of that man's mouth, he should be slapped in this movie.
Agreed.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's such a dick.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's terrible.
He's awful. Like
He's
when
terrible.
when she tells him that, what does he say? I got you a Christmas present. Oh yeah, he walks into her office and he's like, I got you a Christmas present. And she's like, I got you one too. And she goes to get it out of her drawer and he's like, oh no, I don't actually have it with me. Like, are you freaking kidding me, dude?
Okay, not only I don't have it with me, I don't have it with me, and oh, you're gonna look so
Yeah,
hot
but I know
in
you're
it.
gonna look hot in it.
My guy, you got engaged 5 seconds ago.
seconds
Like,
later.
you are just coming up from the one knee crouch, and you're like, well, you're gonna look hot in this little thing. No.
And she doesn't even
Slap
know that
this
he's
man.
engaged at that point.
Yes.
Like, it still hasn't been announced.
The
Right.
slapping should never end for
No,
No,
for
he's
Jasper
all
in this movie.
slapping.
He's terrible.
Every woman out in that like open area should just be like with their gloves, smack,
Yeah.
smack. Like as he walks by, they
just a gauntlet.
smack him with their gloves. I would love that. That would be fantastic.
He deserves nothing less, honestly.
Correct. I think so.
But again, you know, like we were talking about Amanda self-sabotaging her relationships. This this movie's so hard for me where you just have two women who are like, I like can never commit to a man. I'm always leaving the door open for my escape. And then you have Iris, who is just like, I have decided that I will just latch onto the one worst, most unavailable man on planet Earth.
Yeah. He's
Ladies.
her toxic beard.
He so is.
Oh my God.
Is. And he is just blocking any self-realization, right?
Yep.
Because she's like, I want this man who makes me feel awful. Why do I feel awful for being in love with him? But also, I just can't stop. I can't love anyone else or examine anything other than my deep, deep longing for this absolutely atrocious man.
So much so that she goes home, turns the gas on her stove, and starts to try to breathe it in. And I'm like, what the crap?
Yeah. So
Not
rough.
even.
So rough. But I'm so glad you brought that up because that moment. Okay, listen, if we were going to like rewrite this as a gay rom-com, that moment where she's like, I'm gonna kill myself over this terrible man that I am convinced I am in love with. And then the little like ding of her computer is
Right.
what like brings her back. And it's Amanda on the other end of that message.
The dream.
Like, that's
Yes.
That's where we
that's the
wanna see
beginning
it
of a
go.
rom-com.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, that's such a better meet. Listen, they talk about meet cutes. That's such a better
That
meet
is a
cute
much
than like
better
way
meet
better.
cute.
you showed up drunk and full of urine on my doorstep after
Correct.
abandoning your extremely adorable children.
Exactly.
Right.
Way better.
Because the ding would happen. And then she would say, are there any men in your town? And Iris would say, no, but there's me. Why don't we go out and have a drink? Come on down.
Yeah, I'll
Stay in
I'll
my
show you
cottage."
around.
She'd
I'll
say,
show
I
you
live
around
in
town.
this beautiful cottage. It's amazing.
I'll
Why
take
don't
you to
come
the
stay
pub.
here?" Yeah.
You can borrow my clothes.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
You
We
don't
could go
seem to
see my
own any
brother's
winter
cow.
clothing.
You don't have a single jacket. You're freezing in my house. Here, let
Yeah.
me warm you.
Yeah.
We'll sit
Yeah.
on the couch with my dog.
Oh no, the heat
Who
went out.
but she left her dog for a stranger to take care of.
Yes.
That is a freaking plot hole that I do not appreciate. I'm just saying.
What's more upsetting, Iris's abandoning her dog or Jude Law abandoning his children constantly?
Oh God.
Ooh,
They're both bad.
That's bad.
They're
Those are
both bad, but I feel like this is a terrible thing for me to say.
Please say it.
having been a single parent at one point, I definitely know that like the man is like, oh my God, I need a weekend off. But like, we don't actually see the children until like halfway through the movie. But the dog is
which is
there.
concerning.
Right.
Which is concerning to me.
Right. Because they're not a focal point until it's time for her to get over her shit. Right. That's when they become the focal point, is because now Amanda has to stop being non-committal and make a decision about something. So like, that's when they show up. We get to exploit the children's need for a parent. I go just as deep, man. I got this.
Oh, those poor girls. They just need someone who wears perfume.
They just need a mommy with berry kiss lipstick. I've seen this movie way too many times. The dog. I say the dog because the dog is like a parent. As soon as she gets there, after she freaking treks through the snow and finds this little quaint cottage in the middle of nowhere, which how the hell did Iris like come upon this cottage? Was it left to her in somebody's will? I don't know. So like then Amanda finds this little cottage and walks inside, and there's a dog there.
It's such a cute dog too.
It's so cute and fluffy. Yeah. So like we see that animal right off the top, and I always am like, who just leaves their dog for a stranger to take care of?
Iris, I know.
Iris does.
But the thing,
because she's
the thing with Iris, I know she's off with Jack Black, and the thing is like I feel like Jack Black also like. Here's the thing with making men so emotionally tuned in a movie is, to me, it immediately is just like, so a lesbian. Like, okay.
Yes,
I see what you did there.
This is what we're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
he's a butch lesbian. He's a butch lesbian who's getting mistreated by his high femme girlfriend, right?
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
He found a high femme straight girl who's trying to experiment.
Oh my God,
and
yes.
test the water.
Oh my God.
Right? That's what's happening. But she's not really into it, and
my mind is blown right now.
Yes, and then she shows up back with a man, you know, and she's like, I just
right in front of him.
I just actually kind of miss like being with men, you know.
Yeah,
and he's totally shocked.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's surprised.
What?
Yeah, and then of course she does the comeback at the end.
Yes.
Right, with the I was wrong. I didn't. Which, of course, she was wrong.
She's like, he's not actually that into foreplay, and like,
yeah, that guy's never gonna make her come the right way.
Miss being a lesbian.
This movie's actually all about sex,
and
it is,
and then it is, and then Jack Black, the butch lesbian, drops everything to try to go see if he wants to try.
That's such a lesbian move. Yeah,
it's such a lesbian move.
Wow,
it really is,
man.
Here's the only way. The only way I'll say Jack Black is not a lesbian is he's like far too smooth with Iris. I'm sorry, no lesbian is walking in and being like, "Oh my gosh, you look great today." Kiss on the cheek. Oh, I bought you a iced coffee. Oh, big whipped cream. Okay, great. No. Lesbians are just standing there like shaking with the coffees in their hand, just being like, "You look. Do you want to get a movie?" Do you like movies? I like movies.
Do you like? I like.
Yeah.
Do you like bread?
You like bread? You had a whole lot of swag though. You were smooth as hell.
Oh.
You were smooth.
But I didn't think
the Jack Black school of flirting.
Why.
Yes, it's very.
Did you scrutin diddle do your way right in there?
Very close.
Sure did. One accidental boob graze.
That's right. That was it. It was just an accidental boob graze, and I was in love. It was so quick.
That is a good line.
I didn't even know what happened.
Listen, the queer council is going to require documented evidence of someone that smooth. It sounds fake. I'll be honest.
I
sounds
know.
made up.
Yeah. It does sound made up.
Yeah.
I've met lesbians. So okay.
I know one or two. But again, I didn't think you were, interested, so that's why.
No, that's true.
That's why I could be smooth because I didn't.
Because you thought I was looking down a hallway. So yeah, no, that makes sense.
Listen, as someone whose wife was also ostensibly straight when we met, I totally feel you. I totally get it. Totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was like, I can practice all my moves because she's not interested because like she's not obviously.
Yeah. Listen, you were like half Jack Black. So I'll give you like a little bit of it.
I just don't have a beard.
You don't have the beard.
I feel like they missed so much potential in this movie of like what should have been like a beautiful love story of like two very, very clueless lesbians saving each other from terrible men.
Yes.
100%.
Like there's
that's a real missed opportunity.
It so is. And honestly, I could do it by the gender bent Jack Black, Jude Law characters. I could go for that, but like I wanted Iris and Amanda in this
ultimately,
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they have to be in love. But I want to know whose house do they end up
they keep them
at?
both. That's easy. Iris. No, and here's why. Here's why I think that's the better ending for this movie, okay? Because they do this thing at the end where they're just like, oh, we'll just stay through New Year's. And then they like all show up in Iris's little cottage and they're all just like, oh, the love train, boop, boop. And they're like dancing around the living room, okay? And here's the problem. They explained nothing. What is the plan here?
No, we got
what
no
is the plan?
information.
This man has a job and children and a family and like a life out here. You have a giant fucking mansion and a job in LA that you cannot do. You cannot move to Surrey, England to do, okay? Iris has like a shit office job, or what is she? She's a writer? She's like a newspaper writer writing romance columns?
She's a writer.
Okay,
Yeah,
they have newspapers in
columnist.
America, okay? Like whatever.
Or she writes about weddings.
You could do
right?
that literally
Doesn't
anywhere.
She write about
okay?
engagements.
So
and
here's the problem. I
weddings?
feel like they put these four people together with no actual thought as to like how do you upend your lives to make this arrangement of things work. The easiest arrangement is Iris, who can write anywhere, writes in LA, and then they have a cute cottage in the UK for their vacations. Easy. Done.
You mean they don't
Very
do
smart.
the long distance thing for like 9 months while they
Listen.
complain about it on Facebook?
I know some lesbians, and like I love us. I love that we keep doing this to ourselves, but like just fucking move to LA, Iris. You know you're going to.
I know.
You're going to spend a
Just
fortune
move
in
to
plane
LA.
tickets. Just get a job out there. It's fine.
But also, I think that Amanda makes a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
obviously. And like
And she
Iris could like go be like a housewife and like moonlight as a writer and go like buy cute shit
And hang out with
because
Arthur.
now she's not. Yes, because now she's not being burdened by
Yeah.
men who like gaslight her and like drop crumbs in front of her.
I feel like
Right?
it's weird to
Yeah.
watch a movie where they try to be like a happy ending and you're like, is it though? Like you just had a whole conversation about how it's impossible to make this work and now you've solved nothing. You've just decided to stay an extra week. And I feel like that's actually not a great answer here.
It's just an ending.
It's just an ending. I know.
No, it is pretty lesbian though. But the other question is, but how long could it possibly take to cut a trailer? I mean,
Great question.
can't
Great
Amanda
question.
just fly to LA for a week, cut a trailer, go back to England, and like live on the farm, and then like once a month, just a little tryst out to LA to cut
Yeah.
the trailer. How long could it take?
I don't know, but you just used my favorite word.
I did.
You did. Tryst.
Oh.
I did use tryst.
That's a good one.
The other question is,
I love that word.
Do Jack Black and Jude Law get together then?
Ooh.
If the
Listen,
ladies
Jack
get
Black
together,
would be
he'd
a great
double
dad.
Gay. He would be.
Jack Black would be a
Jack
really
Black
good
would be
dad.
there with a little Mr. Napkin head of his own, like rootin' deetin' doodle for those
Yeah.
kids. Like he'd have
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
time. I can see it.
Yeah, he'd be the stay-at-home
Yeah.
dad, so that Jude Law could do whatever he does for a living.
So that
to
Jude
afford
Law could
everything.
go to the bar over the weekend and the kids wouldn't be left alone.
he can't do that. To
Right?
Jack.
I'm not gonna lie. The cow, the whatever, like my biggest plot hole in this movie is how did the 4-year-old call you with her name popping up? Like, I'm sorry. Does she have her own cell phone?
But they both,
Does she have a
I've
phone?
said that too. They both
Yeah.
have their own
Makes
cell phones.
no sense.
Yeah.
Makes absolutely zero
No, that's-
sense.
In 2006,
Yes.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's now. It
Caller
barely
ID
makes
had
sense
barely
in
been invented.
2024. Yeah.
They each
It was
have
a
their
more
own
innocent
phone.
time. It is the thing that's so funny to try to explain to like the younger generation now. Is you're like, sometimes people used to call you and you didn't even know who it was. You just had to answer the phone. It's terrible. It's terrible. Imagine the anxiety. Why do you think millennials all have anxiety? It's because we had to answer fucking phone calls with no idea of who was on the other end.
Yeah.
With no caller ID. We don't know
Yeah.
who it is.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
It is definitely tragically lesbian, the part where Amanda like looks over at his phone.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When the girls call and she's like, Sophie,
I didn't mean to look.
I didn't mean to look at your
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
Oh, I don't, I'm sorry. Olivia, what? No, I'm
I didn't
sorry.
mean to look
I
again.
didn't actually. I thought it was my
Yeah.
phone. That's my friend. Mhm.
See, and again,
So
a
good.
movie plot point that could never exist in the year of our Lord 2024, because it would pop up with a picture of like a 4-year-old child, and she'd be like, "Oh, Olivia,
Right,
your
right,
daughter,
yeah.
I guess." Like, yeah,
Your
Yeah.
child,
Right.
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so hit me with it. If we want to redo our gay version of this movie, in your ideal gay version, who are we shipping? Are we gender bending it? Are we reorganizing the couples? What are we doing? They can be different answers for both of you.
They could be different answers.
We talked about that.
You go first. No. I
In the
want
hot
you to
seat,
go
Gabby,
first.
hit me.
All right. Well, I mean, Jack Black has to be a butch lesbian. That's just, there isn't any way around
Okay.
that. I think we've talked about that 100 times. That has to be the answer. Does he still end up with Kate Winslet? Yeah, I think so. I think he has to, because it's Kate Winslet. So that's done.
Okay, so you have
She'd make room for
gender
him on the door.
bent Miles and Iris.
I got a gender bend Jack Black.
Okay, what do
yeah.
we rename Miles to?
And-
What's his lesbian
Oh.
name?
What are we gonna?
What are we gonna name him?
Name?
In
It's like his maiden name.
2006. It can't be like a 2024 name.
Yeah.
It's got to be something like
Like a nice classic
What are we
early
gonna
aughts
rename
name, you
him
know?
to?
yeah,
Hmm.
like Melissa.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Melissa's good.
I think
Okay.
Melissa's good.
Okay,
Melissa's
Melissa,
it, yeah.
Melissa
Yeah.
and Iris. And of course, the most important question,
Melissa and Iris.
what's their ship name?
I guess it's got to be like Myris.
Myris.
It's got to be
Myris.
Hot stuff.
It's got to be Myris.
Myris.
All right, I did half. You do the other half.
Oh man. I mean, I think ultimately the whole movie would have like really begun when they started talking on the
Yep.
messaging and they like
Sure.
started to and instead of like immediately saying I want to go here, like you saw them like sitting in front of their computers all night with like their cups of tea and like they're just texting all night or not
The
text, whatever they're
modern,
doing.
more modern You've Got
Messaging.
Mail version of this story.
Yeah, yes, and they're like going back and forth.
They're instant messaging.
Yes.
Yes, they're instant messaging each other. That's right. They're aiming.
They're
each
like,
other.
they're like, are
And
there
that
any
would
men in your
be-
town? No. What about you? No. Great.
No.
Oh my God. Yeah. Ideal. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Yeah, and then
I'm
they
with
like
ya.
just they would be like kind of like flirting, but testing the waters. And Amanda would be like, this feels different. I've never gotten this feeling talking to a guy,
Yeah.
right? And like,
She thinks Iris
And,
is
like,
on a
they-
date, and Amanda starts crying for the first time. Yeah.
right? Yes, no, that would be perfect, right?
Right.
Because then Jasper calls and Iris is like, just hold on 1 second. And then Amanda's all of her emotions and it would be perfect. And they would fall in love and it would be like, just,
And
Blessed.
hit me with that ship name.
oh my God, I don't even know.
Would she still be Amanda? And
I think
Iris?
so.
Would they
Yeah.
even be Amanda and Iris? Yeah, sure. It would be so close to Myris,
Would be.
right? It would be like a Myris.
Iris.
Myra.
I don't know how to make these names
Irenda.
work. This is not something I'm good at.
We're terrible at it. That's
Irenda.
why we do it every time.
Irenda.
They never get better. That's okay.
Irenda is a good one.
No, Irenda would work.
Iris. Hashtag.
That's what they'd name their business together. That
They
they
call it
selling
Amira.
selling raw milk.
Amandis.
Selling raw milk from the farm.
Amandis.
Amandis. I mean, Amanda is definitely like the more butch, like the dominant, like I don't necessarily.
Are you
wanna put those
going
two
for
things in the
butch
same
or top?
category.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we
No,
saying?
I'm
here?
top.
I think
I'm
you
not
mean
saying
top.
I'm
She's the top. Yeah.
Sorry, I was conflating my relationship.
Yeah. Top.
She's the. She's definitely the
Okay,
top.
that's
She's like
fair.
100% all. She's got all the top
Listen.
energy. Like she's like
People can go a lot of ways on
and-
this movie. I will die on one hill, and that is that Iris will never be a top, okay?
no. Iris
And honestly,
will
I'm going to
never
say
be
that's
a
why she and Jack
top.
Black don't work out ultimately, because that man,
No, because
that
he's
man
a bottom
is a straight
too.
bottom too. Like, let's be real.
He's
Okay?
like complete bottom.
This
Yeah,
is two
he's
bottoms
all
gonna realize
bottom.
that they do not work in bed, and that's okay.
That it's not gonna work
because
together.
Amanda's waiting for her.
And like even through that whole movie, when you get to the end, they still are so awkward next to each other. Like there's never like they don't do they kiss? Like is there ever like I don't think there's
They
any
kiss
like
once
real romantic
at Arthur's
connection
thing, I
between
think,
them.
and it's pretty. They did Jack Black dirty, I think, as a romantic love interest in this movie.
They did because he's so sweet. He's so precious.
But it's the same thing. I feel like they do not want to allow men like him to be sexy. You know, like they didn't want to make him sexy in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's a disservice to Jack Black, I will say. But they have a very tepid kiss, and that's about all we get from them.
It's like
which is another reason why he would also be the butch lesbian, because it's the same that pulls it all together. That like they wouldn't want that.
Ultimately,
So,
I
true.
think the main takeaway is the holiday should have been gay. Would have been better.
Yeah, it should have been
Okay,
gay.
I'm gonna hit you with our Q and gay questions. Are you ready?
Q and gay.
Starting with question 1. Where would you rather vacation? A, LA mansion, or B, cozy British cottage? I'll start with you, Emily. You put Gabby in the hot seat first last time.
So, man, I'm really bad at like picking
Christmas
things
trip.
because
Where are you
I'm
going?
I'm not a black and white person. I'm like so gray. I always have a reason why one or the other could work in some way. We're going to England. Absolutely.
Okay.
Cozy cottage.
What about you, Gabby? Are you going too?
Cozy cottage, hands down.
I hope she's going.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Question 2, tough one. What would be your best role when it comes to movies? Out of A, writer, B, composer, C, trailer editor, or D, audience member?
I'm gonna have to go trailer composer.
Nice. You just want the big bucks in the LA mansion. I get it.
Yeah, you just want
I
the
want the
mansion.
job that actually only takes a week and I make $1 million on it. That's the one.
That's actually completely ideal.
Great.
Totally.
What about you, Emily? What would you be doing?
I'm the writer.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Question 3. Who's gayer in this movie? A, Amanda, B, Iris, C, Graham, or D, Miles?
Miles. 100%.
Poor Jack Black, man. They made him such a lesbian.
They really did.
Which is really just perfect, though.
Yeah. Do you agree, Gabby? What do you think?
I gotta agree. Yeah, I gotta agree.
That's so surprising. I'm such a hard Amanda answer on this.
You are. Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
I really am.
You did really
I
make
just
me
see
think
it.
about it, though. You did make me think about the Amanda
For when you watch it next week, things to consider.
You mean
later when we
tonight?
hang up.
Because
yeah, sure.
now it's in my head, so.
Okay, equally difficult question 4. Who's the worst villain out of A, Ethan, B, Jasper, or C, Maggie?
Oh.
Maggie.
Yeah, it's definitely Maggie.
It's because we made her like a super high
'cause
femme
she's-
straight girl, isn't
she's
it?
the nasty straight girl that's just trying to experiment with a butch. Yeah,
I
don't-
see you, Gabby. You're answering that and you're like,
I
that
was
bitch,
like-
how dare she go back to men?
Yeah, I feel like Maggie's it. Jasper's a close second, though.
How dare you string along that sweet, sweet lesbian Jack Black in this movie?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Jasper's just objectively terrible. Just a terrible
Jasper's
human.
just total trash.
Yeah.
Like,
but
Yep.
but Maggie's stealth trash, and that's always
Yeah.
the worst one, right? Like she's.
It's more
I
manipulative.
bet you in the car
Yeah.
when the music's playing, she's talking to that jackass,
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
When he
probably
gets
never
out to
listened
help
to any of the
Iris with the
songs.
thing in her eye.
Yeah. She's probably never listened to
She's
any
on
of
the phone
songs.
like, oh my God, you're so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Question 5. How often do you cry? Never. B, once a year. C, once a month, or D, every week?
I mean, I'm a major weeper. I cry all the time. So that my answer is not even on that list.
Amazing. Gabby, what about you?
I would go once a month, I think.
That's good. That feels fine. That's like enough, right?
Yeah, it's good.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Get it out. You let it out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
I cry enough for the both of us. It's fine.
That's true. She does do all
It's
the
totally
crying.
good. I do all the crying.
That's good. That's how my wife and I are too, you know? It's like
Yeah.
you just put on any TV show. It doesn't even have to be a sad one. Just anything.
I just cry.
Put something on the television. Just put a box of tissues next to her. She's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Same.
Good. Well, thank you both so much for hanging out, keeping me company all by my lonesome tonight. What a blast.
You did
This is
amazing.
great.
This is
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Yeah, thank
Let
you for
our
having me.
listeners know, where can they find you? Where can they find Butch Boudoir Project? All the stuff you're doing.
Me?
Who's going to say
You
it?
say it.
All right, so you could go to our website is butchboudoir.com, and you can find us on any of the various socials. We have the Insta and TikTok and Facebook.
We're not on the X.
We're not on the X. Nope, we didn't do that one. And it's Butch Boudoir Project on all of them. And if you can't remember, you can go to the website and you can find it from there.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
This is
so
awesome.
much. This is great.
And look, we made a podcast. Just like that.
Woo!
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from you and building community, so we want to shout out some of our favorite things each episode. And we would like to shout out Mel, who reached out to say Trinkets should have been gayer. One of the main characters on Trinkets is gay, yes, but I totally understand what you're saying, Mel, because the main three girls should be a throuple 10,000%. So you're not wrong. Thank you for sharing that with us. I haven't thought about Trinkets in a million years, though, so that was cracking me up. Like, that is a throwback.
As always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Lizette Stye,
Adi Benitez,
Sophia Phillips,
and Armani Gucci,
and our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen.
and Andrea Doucette. Thank you all so much. We could not keep doing this podcast without all of you and all of our patrons.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure that you subscribe. That way you'll be the first to know when new episodes go up every week.
We also post videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod to catch them.
Let's Hang Out is an independently produced show. It's hosted by us. Our audio production is done by Ellie. Our production assistant is Krista Murison, and various other shenanigans are done by me.
If you want to support the podcast, the easiest way to do that is to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. We love hearing what you have to say, and it lets new people know, hey, this is a great show. You should listen to it. Unless you don't want to say that, then don't leave the review.
If you want to help support the podcast, you can also join our Patreon at bit.ly/lespatreon. You get access to ad-free episodes, to our Discord chat with our patrons. We have Les Essentials viewing parties, tons of other stuff. And it is a super, super helpful way to help us keep making the show.
If you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, you can get that at bit.ly/lesshop. We have all kinds of designs on our TeePublic store. We have tees, tanks, totes, all our favorite tees at bit.ly/lesshop.
And remember, we have a queer production company making queer podcast musicals with guaranteed happy endings that you can find everywhere at $beanprod.
Or at our website, dollarbeanproductions.com.
You can listen to all the episodes of our first show, The Flame, on any podcasting app, and our current show, Journey to the Heart, is releasing now.
And if you want to help support us in making more musicals, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon, where we will be sharing extra bonus songs as the show diverges into a few different paths in the choose your own journey of it all. We have some songs that will not be released officially on the feed. So you're really going to want to join our Patreon at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon to hear them.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.